Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Anthony and I've got an amazing video for you guys today. So this is the third video I've created within basically a 24-hour period. That's how fast information is coming to me right now. And you know what this kind of really is doing for me, it's given me confirmation to a lot of information that I have been seeking answers to or clarification on, and a lot of issues that I've been bringing up in my prayer meditation sessions, like out in the park. And so today I was messing with the aquariums, and there was a video that I saw pop up on my feed, and it's someone that does channeled messages, and I've listened to a couple of times, but not on a regular basis. But this was you pick one card or the other, and then this presenter showed the cards, and I really resonate with those because I think that's your intuition is guiding you on which one to go with. And so when I listened to the reading, I'm going to tell you that I literally felt a miracle coming through, because there was something so specific. Even the presenter said, wow, this is an oddly specific reading for someone. There was nothing in there that did not resonate with me. Nothing. Including the card that I chose. And so I wanted to get right into that. And yes, I did take some notes. One thing I do want to say though, a point of clarification. You guys remember where, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, I was talking about if I had if my current relationship was a test, a blind test, or a blind faith test, I didn't back up to see if the person I was actually dating was authentic. And I said in that video that I failed that test because I was comparing it to the visions I was getting from Robert. You guys remember I got lots and lots of visions, but when I reached to this person on a dating app, when I saw his photo, I read his energy and I knew he could not be the person coming forward for me. And so I thought that was a test I passed. Well, I was incorrect. My current relationship was not something that I did or didn't do correctly. And we'll get more into that. But I just want to say, for point of clarification, I was wrong on that. I'm glad I found out I was wrong because I've learned so much more since. And now remember, this video comes just on the heels of 2 other videos I've been doing right almost back to back based on such very specific information coming forward. And so this presenter is called 13 Moon Tarot, and this was a winter solstice message. And so there were 2 cards. I think it was Mercury. And then she kind of doesn't read the energy of the card. And then she pulls out a bunch of symbols and things out of a bag. And then tells you what they are, like whether they're numbers or words or the symbol or, something like that. And then the second card, and that one did not resonate with me. So I'm like, okay, well, I know it's not that one because I'm not resonating with this card. And I really didn't care about, the trinkets that came out of the bag. And when she got to the second one, and she showed the card, and I looked at it, I'm like, that's me. That's the one I'm going to listen to right there. So the card was called Fog. And so what's really okay, there's so many levels of how this is miraculous. The last trip I was on, we had 2 days of fog that we were, early morning flights that we were stuck in. You just couldn't see anything. Literally, both days, dense fog. And we were talking about it because it's kind of rare to have 2 days in a row a number of different cities that I'm flying in and out of, but fog on both of them. So it was really kind of interesting that as I chose the card, it was the fog card, and I just got in from that trip. So there was resonance, there was fog in my life, literally, with some issues that needed clearing up. There was fog at work for the planes I was on, and then I have the card reading that's the fog. Okay, so that's just the tip of the iceberg as to how this is so intricate. So I wanted to read to you first what I've got down here. One of the things that I think I may call this one clarity in the fog, because that's what it offered me. It offered me a lot of clarity, and so I'm really, really proud of that. The first thing she talks about, there's potential I have not realized, potential in myself that I've not realized. And what that comes down to is there is a need for me to practice self-love, self-appreciation, and that self-appreciation in order to maximize my potential and make it evident to myself that I am a light in the dark. Now, you guys know I resonate as being a light worker. I've put out videos that I've described my light and how bright my light is. I've given several examples of that. So this light in the dark really, truly resonated with me. I'm like, okay, we are on the right track. Not only was the fog my first indication, but we are on the right track because of my resonance with, the light. I have equal light and dark that others cannot hold at the same time, meaning I can balance the two effortlessly. It's like a part of something that would be in my wheelhouse of tools to be able to do. Or some people either just can't do it or they can't balance both at the same time. I'm able to balance both at the same time. So I can embrace both the light and the dark side of my personality. Also, I can create change for myself. And I know I can do that because I told you guys on the last video, I believe, that I have manifested an entire array of things that I want going forward in my new life. And I will disclose all those when they come into fruition, because I don't want to tell you until they happen, and then I can have confirmation for it. Let's see. I think I was trying to write in equity. When given two choices, I can always come up with a third option. Oh my gosh, that's always been a gift of mine. Always, always, always. I have always been really good at being a listener and giving advice, no matter who it is. A friend, a family, coworker, whatever, stranger. I can listen to what your question is or what your situation is, and then you can say, I do this, 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 or this. And I can always come up with another reason. Well, have you thought about this? You could do this, blah, 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 blah. That has always been a gift of mine. And I've never really thought of it as a spiritual gift, but it's something I've always used my entire life. I've had so many friends that come to me that they won't tell anyone else in something like this just because they know I can remain impartial. I don't put my feelings in it. That's not the point. The point is to listen to what is on your heart and then to give you the best, honest, fair, and just answer. Remember, I did just say just. Just like what we have been talking about in several videos now, the fact that I feel a connection to what is just and unjust in the universe, and I believe there should be balance. And so for me, this is another area that this flows seamlessly into. So all this is just really, really, for me, hitting home about how this reading went, and it was just amazing. So here's a section here on Spirit is wanting me to see a third option with regards to a situation. I can do something different that others have never done. Not sure yet what that means. I can handle a situation that is unique to me, a situation of the heart. Also, something about doing something on the fly. She literally said, you're doing something about you're doing something about being on the fly. Now, I about fell out of the sofa when she said that. You guys know I have another YouTube channel, which is what these tanks are sitting here. And my channel's name is Aquascaping on the Fly. And when she said, there's something about doing something on the fly, I thought, oh, dear Lord, this really is just for me. This really is resonating perfectly with me. And then she says, I don't need any planning at all. I just trust I will have the realization I need at the moment I need it, as long as it comes from a true place, from the heart, from self-confidence and self-love. Untapped power. To see more possibilities than others. So that is one of the powers that I did not know was a gift, but I found out in this reading that it is a gift. To grow a new solution, ideas, opportunities versus taking the status quo. I've never been one to fit in the box. I've always thought outside the box. And yes, I like to come up with my own solutions of things. Just like I like to learn my way through a process. Just like how I tackle creating on my other channel, because aquascaping is my passion. And I knew nothing about it a year ago. And now here we are a year later, and I'm doing videos for 2 channels. A channel like you're watching right now that I thought I would have no relevance with, and I have the most extreme relevance with it. I mean, I just could not imagine how more relevant this is and what came out in this reading. When she said on the fly, I literally could not believe it. No one has ever even come close to hitting the mark so close like that. With any of the readings I've ever had. What are my highlights? Not everything needs to be fully answered for me to be right. So a lot of times I'm asking for clarification instead of just knowing that my intuition is right. I'm looking for clarification. Apparently I need to stop doing that. That I need to trust in the process and trust in my instincts. If I'm guided towards something, that's all I need to go with. That's it. What I need to release. Ooh, here we go. The card was reflection, and you're looking at yourself. I am being too hard on myself. I am planning. I'm in the planning. I plan too much for what I want to do. I need to release fear that I'm not going to be good enough for someone else, a job, myself. Stop blaming myself for not seeing what, I'm just going to say it, my husband was like, and the betrayal in my marriage. My husband was a part of my growth, and to end that lifelong cycle. So let's back up there. This whole section here is where I've had the most trouble. This is it right here. This release. This is big because you guys know I've posted videos on where I thought, you know, I'm too old, too ugly, too pale, too ginger, not relevant, wouldn't be able to find an audience, too fat for camera. No matter what negativity you're going to say about yourself, that's what's been popping up in my head. And that there is no reason why I should be doing any of this. And so to release that fear is profound. And I mean, I really, really worked on that tonight during my prayer meditation out in the park. I mean, I really worked on it. I listed everything I could think of. and asked to have it removed from me. That's huge though. So the part about my relationship, my marriage, is that, you know, when I made the comment at the beginning of the video, you know, I thought I failed the test because I didn't back up. I didn't test the connection. I just assumed it was what it was. I didn't go and investigate it further. Could have said, I thought at the time I could save myself some heartache, and I've been asking, did I do something wrong? What could I have done differently? Could I have avoided this? And I got a resounding no. That I had to go through that connection, and my end goal from a higher standpoint was to end the connection, which I did, that I have done. And by ending the connection, blocking that individual spiritually to where they no longer have access to me, planning for my divorce, all of that set the stage for me to close out that cycle. So that cycle was part of my karma, and it's also, I believe, tied to something that I did for the family that I was born into here. I ended another karmic cycle. I ended a generational karmic cycle for this family. And I haven't been told what it is. I'm not sure, but I was told that I've cleared it, and it's multiple generations of a curse. And so that I'm very thankful for. I'm so glad I was able to do that and help my family. But I had specifically talked about the fact that my husband seemed to have, and I used the word mask in prayer meditation. I used that word because the person I dated was not the person who showed up when we were married. And I had asked all these questions about what if this, blah, 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 blah. Well, the answer just kept coming back to, in this reading, that it's all about the fact that I had to go through this. I had to close out this cycle so that I could be reborn into my new self that I'm undergoing now, and that this was a part of my destined path. So what you guys may not remember, depending on what videos you're watching, is that my husband was my twin flame. Except I have found out he was considered a fallen twin flame, meaning he never wanted to join in the mission that we would have had together, whatever it was supposed to be. I didn't know about this until I ended things with him in a reading I found out. Now, it made sense. He has always known things about me that I could not understand. He's always had a connection to me that I could not understand. It didn't work both ways. That's not one of my gifts, but it is one of his gifts. So he actually turned his back on his gifts and decided to live in the ego instead of a higher purpose. And that's probably not even a separate issue. It's just that's matter of fact what he was doing. Even though when I started freeing myself from the matrix, I was trying to help him in the beginning. As far back as the first of this year, I was still willing for him to relocate to Texas, where I am. And it wasn't until, and I've shared this on a video, so it's not like I'm disclosing something I haven't said before. I'm just saying, I don't care what, I have no secrets. I told him once I started aquascaping and it consumed my life so quickly, I told him, I said, before you put in for a transfer or anything like that, you need to see where I'm living, because you may not be comfortable living where I am, because that aquascaping has taken over my space, and my space is tiny, and it's going to be a challenge. And so I had sent him some photos for him to look at, and he was looking at while we were on the phone. We rarely talk on the phone. Usually it's always text messages. This time we were on the phone with each other, and I heard his voice, the way he said it. And he looked at the one, I showed him a picture of the studio here with the sofa, and he goes, oh, is that the sofa I'm going to be sleeping on? And that's when it hit me. He had no intention of being a husband. He just wanted a place to live. He wanted someone to pay his bills, like always. And that's the catalyst. So we're talking that I've not even been out of the realm of not wanting to have a relationship for a year yet. This is all so new, and I didn't understand why I was making these drastic decisions. To me, I couldn't understand why, I was forcing myself to do things that I didn't think I would ever do and turn my back on him. But everything has evolved. Everything, one step leads to another, and then it makes sense. And I'm starting to see the picture and the flow of things. And so when it's talking about the mask that he's wearing, and I think down in here somewhere, I think at the very end, the presenter said, you actually have the power to determine which one was the mask. The previous style, the way he was, or the afterwards. And so it hit me like a ton of bricks. The mask is when we were dating. The mask was him being lovey-dovey in public, and then, just in horrible behind closed doors. And we've only been able to live together 3 separate times that didn't last that long because it was that bad. I just don't like living that way. I don't like strife. And it goes back to me wanting harmony and balance in my life. And so talking about his mask and which one it was, and I could determine I now know which one it was, that got me thinking about it. And I talked about that tonight in my prayer meditation. I said, well, it doesn't matter which one the mask was. I said, but I know in my heart the mask was when we were dating, because as soon as we were married, it was completely different, and he didn't try to hide it. He was the energy was different, everything was different. And I said, I don't know if it's because of a coven or the people that were engaged in the dark magic. I have no idea. I don't need to know that. That doesn't serve my purpose. I know that I was probably just a target because he maybe read my energy and was trying to align himself with me to get whatever he could financially off of me, and didn't think I would ever break free. So I have broken free, and it's shocked him. I mean, really, really shocked him. He is up sleepless nights because he can't figure out what happened. Because I've just told him the fact. We're not ever doing this again. I've made my mind up. I'm done. No arguments about it. I'm not going to discuss it. And I told him I won't ever text again. I mean, if you tell me something, and you call me up and you can tell me something, but I won't text you. And so every time he tries to send a text, I just ignore it. And that's not how I was in the past. 9 months ago, I would have been begging for that text. And I would have fed right into it, He would say one little thing, there comes the breadcrumb, and I would have jumped on it and feasted on that for months. And that is sick to think I was like that. That I was derailing my own personal happiness that much for another person who could give 2 blank blanks about it. So, yeah, I wish I could have said what I really wanted to say right then, but I'm afraid YouTube would tag my video. So let's move on. Okay. So, that part of the marriage, that was my growth, and to end that cycle. Now, here's what I need to embrace: the release with strength and courage. That's about all the things we're talking about. Embrace everything that I'm telling myself is wrong with me. Why I cannot do something. Why I should not do something. Why I'm not worthy. And then also to embrace the unknown and embrace the fog. It goes back to the same message that was shared 2 videos ago, that chaos is not what you think. Chaos is your guides working behind the scenes. The fog is another version of chaos. You can't see through fog. If you try to turn your lights on bright, it makes it worse. So the fog is the chaos and trying to navigate through it. So what clears the fog? Sunlight, because it dries it up and it evaporates. That's one of the cool things about it. Spirit is calling me out of the fog as something is blocking me. I need to integrate the uncertainty and the chaos because it's all part of me when something is happening. So these, like maybe 2 weeks that I felt like everything's been topsy-turvy, there's been a reason for all of it. It's just things that are happening that I'm dealing with, that pop up, that I have to deal with. The one thing I do is as soon as I know something's popped up, I deal with it right then. I get in the car, I go to my park, I do my prayer meditation, and I have a thorough cleansing of whatever it is. And that's the one thing I don't let wait. Once I know it, I'm on it. And that's one of the things I love about how I am, is I want to take care of it as soon as possible. I need to, talking about the mask, I need to figure it out for myself, and I already did that. Okay, so the release part. I have to let it be that even though my husband was my twin flame, which face was the mask, I think we've already done this, okay, here we go. Except that this betrayal will always be clouded in fog, meaning I'm never going to find out why. There may not be a why. There is his disguise, and I will never get down to the bottom of it. Okay, yeah, so I'll never understand why, and I just have to accept that. I need to simply accept there may be nothing under the mask at all. I am being cruel to myself, trying to unmask this over and over, because I have brought this up a lot. There'll be no epiphany. I can decide what's under the mask for myself. I don't need to figure out in order to be loved, because a lot of this hinges on wanting to move forward and to be in a new relationship. So I don't need to figure this out in order to get someone new to come in, because there's no rhyme or reason why this happened. This just happened because I had to process this and I had to grow from it. And I need to release myself from this. So everything that was in here that we've gone over is something that's just been happening recently. The biggest thing, though, that just jumped out and just made me really praise my guides was when she called out on the fly. And I thought that was just a beautiful message coming from my guides, that they, in this one reading, they answered so many questions that had been plaguing me for quite some time. The only one they really didn't answer was the one about Robert, and I've came up to my own idea about why did I receive so many messages from him, and I think it was to see if I was ready, to see if I might hesitate in accepting a new love coming forward. Would I want to go back to my husband? Because it kept coming up in different readings that he wanted to come forward again. Well, he does want to come forward again. He thinks he can come up with an offer, and I'm telling you, that there ain't no way that offer is ever going to make it to the table, because every time it pops up, I just start yelling about it, and I go right into prayer meditation, and I talk to Archangel Michael, and we block him. We block him and block him and block him, because he has no access to me. I think it was 2 videos ago, though, where I told you guys about how the divine said that my husband has been blocked at that level as well from my energy and from coming forward, and his karma will be what he did to me is now being done to him. He's having the extreme sleepless nights because he's just focused on me and what he threw away. So that's one of the things. But I had to share this with you guys because honestly, the things that came out in this reading, my jaw was just dropping. I was taking notes so freaking fast, I'd have to pause and pause and pause and pause so I could write it down specifically. And then after I did my prayer and meditation, I came straight home. Fortunately, it was not that bad out. It was cool, but there was no wind. It was a beautiful night. And then now I can follow up by doing this video. Once it's out there, usually for me, it releases it for me. This process has been very therapeutic. So my takeaways are that even though I see something as chaos, or I see something as cloudy, or I want to know the why in something, sometimes you won't know the why. Sometimes there is no why. Sometimes you do something because it's a task that has to be done, and you have to prove yourself, and you have to move forward, and you have to choose self-love. This really always comes back to self-love, harmony, and balance. That's the beautiful part about this that's why it's not difficult. Some of the issues we go through can be difficult because I'm not ever going to sugarcoat it for you. But this has been beautiful because I've had these things keep popping up and keep irritating me like a thorn. And now I'm finally getting able to like eradicate these out. So it's amazing. And so I love that. So I really could not wait to share this with you guys. And I hope it resonates with you. So until you see me up in the air as your flight attendant or on our next video update, I'm wishing you guys nothing but light and love. And you guys have a great day. Bye-bye.